What's up, guys? This is Travis with mybringback.com, and what we're going to do today is, well, we're going to get that splash activity working. And before we do that, I just want to kind of talk about the layout of how an activity works, what an activity is, kind of boring stuff. But basically, on a phone, every time you start up a new page, most likely you're starting up a new activity. So, yeah, that's kind of the very general definition of it. But you can use your back button on your phone to go back to the previous activity that you started. Just think of it as like different tabs on your window browser. Like, for example, if I open a new tab here, that's starting a new activity. Then we can go back to this activity if we want. But now, this is the Android developer page, and this kind of is the layout of what an activity does, what methods it calls, and how it calls those methods, which orders and such. So as you can see before, this class main extends the activity class so we can use some of those methods from the activity class. And we have the onStart method, which will set up our content view. So basically, now I'm just going to quickly walk through these and why this is important to know the layout of how the activity works. Basically, what's going to happen is when you open up an activity, it's going to call the onCreate method first. So you might want to load some images, some graphics, set your backgrounds, just like we did in our main activity. And then it's going to go call the onStart method, so you can put some other stuff in there if you'd like. Generally, I put it all in the onCreate. And then it's going to also go through the onResume before your activity starts running. So it's going to call those three methods. Those can be setup methods, resume methods, anything you want to do within those. It's going to call those three before your activity actually starts. Then, like if a new activity, let's say your activity is running, you hit a button and it opens up a different page or a different activity, it's going to put that previous activity that was just running on a pause, and then on stop. And basically, so also this happens when you get a text message or a phone call. It'll put your activity on pause. So example, if you're making a game app and your phone dies, or you get a call or a text message, you can save all that data within the on pause method so the person won't lose track of where they were. And then once you call that activity to start again, it's just going to go through the on resume if it was on pause. And then these are like on stop and on destroy before your activity kills itself. Basically, if your activity is on a pause and it waits too long, or it's not visible as it says here, it's going to go on pause. And then if your phone needs more memory, or other applications need more memory, it's going to kill the activity. So again, it's kind of smart to do all your saving within this on pause method. That's the idea I want you guys to get. And I'll put this link in the description so you guys can check this out and just kind of browse through it. But the most important ones are the onCreate, onResume, and onPause, because if our activity does kill itself, it's going to go through the onPause anyways. So now let's go back into our project here, and basically what we want this activity to do is just load up our splash screen. As you can see, I have the splash background here for 5 seconds, and then basically kill itself and open up a new activity. So the way we're going to do that is, well, first we're going to set up our new activity that we want it to open. And so you're going to go into your package and right click and just hit new class, and we're going to say this is a menu class because it's going to be a menu with buttons, all that good stuff. Just type menu and hit enter or finish, whatever you want to do. And again, we want this to be an activity so we can use those methods that I just kind of went through. So how you do that is just extends activity, and then we're going to have to import the activity. So hover over and just hit import activity, or if you want to do it manually, you can just type import android.app.activity. Again, that's pulling from this Android 2.2 extension that we put in. And then we're just going to hit basically right click again, go down to source, override implemented methods. Again, here are some of the ones that we can use. So I'm just going to hit onCreate, the bundle, you're familiar with that one. We kind of went through that, and then just the on pause, and hit OK, and then there's our two activities or methods. And on the on create, we want to set up our background for the menu. So we're going to say set content view, and then within parentheses we're going to hit r.layout.main, because that's the one that's going to hold our buttons as the main XML. And yeah, so I mean, you guys will get really familiar with this set content view and these little methods right here, this little descriptor, just r.layout.main. We'll kind of go through that later, but yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, obviously, you don't know if you don't know any Java, you don't know exactly what's happening, but you can set up your background, so that's cool. So now that we have our menu activity set up, the only other thing we need to do is kind of define a reference for the Android manifest to know that activity exists. So we're going to open up the manifest, and basically what we're going to do is, you can see within our application, this is where we're going to keep all of our activities. Here's the main activity, which is actually our Splas activity, if you want to think of it that way. And again, I talked through what the launcher and what the main does and all that good, cool stuff. So I'll kind of talk through that again here, but we're just going to copy from this activity bracket down to this the close activity, and we're just going to hit right below that line, still within the application, just Control V. And basically the Android name, that's what our class name is going to be. So we need to call this menu the exact same as what we labeled our class name over here. The label, that's not too important. But these are the two that we're going to change. First of all, like I said, we don't want two launchers, so we're going to change this to a default. So the category name is going to be default, and also we don't want this to be the same, because it's going to look for, this is its action name basically. So this is how we're going to refer to it in Java, and we'll get to that in a second. But what we want to do is label it just basically your package. My bring back dot the basics, and then dot, and we're going to put all uppercase. You can put whatever you want that you guys will get familiar with. I'm just going to call this Splash. So this is kind of our description name and how we're going to refer to it in Java. And now we have the manifest. Kind of knowing that this class exists and we can use it. So now we're going to go back to our main one, our main class, which will again be our Splash activity. Probably should have labeled that as Splash when we set this up, but what we want to do is, let's see here, within our onCreate, basically we're just going to set up a thread, and I'll kind of show you that we aren't going to get too descriptive with the thread, but what we need to do is kind of set up that variable, just like we set up some integers, and I don't know if I actually went through that or not, since I've been doing some Java tutorials as well. But basically you need to define your variable, and you do that by saying what you want the variable to be, and then labeling it. So we're going to label this timer, or logo timer. And then we're going to set this equal to, again, new thread. And this, again, I'm not going to describe exactly what's going on right now, but just get you kind of set up here. So, and we'll get into the details of what this new means and the thread means and all that other stuff. If you guys want to get a jump start, you can also check out my my Java tutorials on my bring back. But we're going to hit new thread and then open bracket, hit enter, and here's your close bracket. And we're just going to go down to this close bracket real quick and put our semicolon. So there we go. We kind of set it up. It's a new thread of some sort, and within here is where we're going to create some methods. And I'm going to do that in the next tutorial just because of time. But yeah, this is kind of the basic layout of setting up our thread, and you guys need to watch the next tutorial for this to actually work. So see you guys then. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. Peace.